All right, welcome back to the Championship Round Show. We are continuing on with our introduction to the letter of James. Um, we should wrap it up here. I think on this last episode. So we're going to talk about the context of the thought and theology of James and the structure and theme, and that will wrap up the study for now. The last one I think only went about 5 minutes, which was nice. This might go probably under 10, but more than five. So hope that you have been getting something from this time that we're sharing together. And then look forward to starting James with James 1, verse 26 on Friday. And I think it's going to be a good time together. So if you can like and subscribe these videos or subscribe to the channel, like the videos. I don't even like saying that. Never mind. If you like it, you'll like it. If you want to subscribe, you'll subscribe. And we'll go from there. No need to beat the dead horse that everybody beats on every channel. Anyway, the context and theology of thought and theology of the book of James. James stands apart from other New Testament writings by avoiding the major theological doctrines that characterize Paul's letters and other apostolic texts. The letter contains no discussion of the incarnation. The incarnation is the doctrine that God took on human form in Jesus Christ, the Son of God, the second person of the Trinity. He was both fully God and fully human. So I want to just throw that in there for those who sometimes you just hear some things so many times you don't even think about them, right? So I just wanted to mention that. Anyway, James mentions Christ by name only twice and offers no treatment of his suffering, of his death, of his resurrection. This absent reflects James' distinctive rhetorical purposes rather than his theological deficiency. The epistle prioritizes Christianity's practical dimensions. The opening chapter functions as an outline, introducing core concerns: perseverance amid hardship, the reversal of wealth and poverty, competing loyalties to God versus worldly values, disciplined speech, and faith expressed through action. That structures the entire letter. James expects his audience not merely to hear his instruction, but to implement it. The epistle bears unmistakable Jewish characteristics, with rabbinical attitudes forming its foundational worldview, though James has integrated these with a Christian framework centered on Christ. His theological perspective emerges from his role as a leader within the Messianic community. James addresses three primary concerns: strengthening Jewish believers during persecution, correcting misinterpretations of Pauline teaching on faith and justification. I think we mentioned that a couple of times already, and we'll really get into it when we get to chapter 2, and transmitting practical wisdom to early Christians. His major themes encompass God's character, messianism, community formation, Torah observance, salvation, the relationship between faith and works, socioeconomic justice, speech ethics, prayer, wisdom, and eschatology, study of the end times. When theology is understood broadly as teaching grounded in an understanding of God and his purposes, rather than narrowly as a systematic Christology, James emerges as thoroughly theological in orientation. So really, it's just the practicality of living out uh, orthodoxy, but having orthopraxy or proper practice, good Christian practice, good Christian living, not just abstract thought. And I, for myself, and this is just, I listen to a lot of debates and things like that, and you can get caught up in just the thoughts of Christianity and not really the living of it. Not he talks about in James, faith without works being dead. You say you have faith, I'll show you my faith by my works. And we have to connect those two, faith and works, and other things, of course, in James. But I think that where are we at? Yeah, we're at 5 minutes. Let's wrap this up. We'll talk about the structure and the theme of James, which is section 6 of our introduction. Identifying the structure of James presents significant interpretive challenges as topics recur throughout the letter with minimal logical markers. Scholar Karen Jobes argued that the letter lacks coherent structure altogether, comparing its paragraphs to pearls on a string. though more recent analysis suggests the author deliberately crafted the letter's organization to emphasize primary concerns and prompt specific actions. The letter comprises three main movements: an opening with a double introduction, James 1 through 121, chapter 1, verse 1 through 27. The body is focused on living the law of liberty, chapter 2, verses 1 through chapter 5, verse 6, and a conclusion, James 5, verses 7 through 20. James employs sophisticated literary devices, including hook words that transition between units, inclusio, which is just repeated words marking section boundaries, and proverbial expressions at key transitional points to signal structural divisions. Regarding the theme, recurring concerns include coping with trials, which is the very beginning of James, living wisely, attitudes toward riches and poverty, and ethical speech, all unified under the call to live according to the royal law of loving God and loving your neighbor. Three foundational themes surface throughout: testing, wisdom, and pure speech, along with poverty versus wealth. The treatment of rich and poor carries particular weight, echoing Jesus' teaching that the poor receive God's special love and that believers must hold possessions and trust for the needy, making this concern central rather than peripheral to faith. The letter reads as sermonic in character, with the author addressing readers directly as a preacher would, suggesting it may derive from preaching notes. James draws from multiple traditions, particularly Leviticus 19 from the Old Testament, Jewish wisdom literature, and the teachings of Jesus, especially the teachings of Jesus, creating a letter of encouragement designed to circulate among multiple churches. So there it is. We actually finished in less than 10 minutes. This concludes the introduction to the letter of James. I look forward to starting James on Friday. Well, we may record it earlier. If we do, I'll put it out earlier. Because anyway, I'm starting with James 126 because I think in this time, but actually any time, is a great time to start here when we're going to be talking about speech and speech in connection to Christianity. And I think that's a great place to start. And we'll continue on, then going through the whole letter, probably going back and forth and covering different areas just based on the structure of the letter. Anyway, that's all we have today. And I finished it. I'm glad I wrapped it up. I think, I don't know, with all the episode, maybe 30 or 40 minutes, but I hope you enjoyed it. God bless you. Hope you all have a great weekend. And we will see you on the next one. God bless. Goodbye. Bye bye.